Hello everyone and welcome back to today's episode. In today's video, we'll be discussing one of the most important components of your computer system, which is the CPU cooler. So if you're building yourself a new rig or you're trying to upgrade your existing one, understanding CPU coolers is key to keeping your system running smoothly and efficiently. So in this video, we'll be discussing CPU coolers, the various types of CPU coolers, how they function, and how to choose the right CPU cooler for your setup. So let's get started. So what exactly is a CPU cooler and why is it so important in your build? As we've discussed on this channel, your CPU is like the brain of your computer and it generates a lot of heat as it works so hard. So if that heat is not properly managed, your CPU can overheat, thereby leading to throttling, system crashes, and probably eventual damage. So that's where CPU coolers come in. The primary function of a CPU cooler is to absorb the heat that is being generated by the CPU and dissipate that heat, thereby keeping your CPU at a safe temperature. So think of your CPU cooler as the air conditioning system of your PC. So in other words, a CPU cooler is a hardware component that is designed to dissipate heat that is generated by your central processing unit. CPUs generate a lot of heat as they perform complex calculations and execute tasks. And if this heat is not managed properly, it can lead to overheating, reduced performance, or even permanent damage of your CPU. A CPU cooler helps to maintain optimal temperatures, thereby ensuring a stable and efficient system operation. Now let's talk about why a CPU cooler is so important in your system build. CPU coolers help to prevent overheating. CPUs can reach high temperatures under load, so the cooler helps to keep them within safe limits. CPU coolers help to improve system performance. Modern CPUs throttle under high temperature. By throttling, I mean their performance reduces under high temperatures. So with a CPU cooler, it helps to maintain consistency in your CPU's performance. CPU coolers help to extend the lifespan of your CPU. Excessive heat can degrade a CPU's potentials over time. So with a cooler, it helps to keep the temperatures within limits. And lastly, CPU coolers enable overclocking. By overclocking, I mean enabling your CPU to run faster than its stock speed. A high performance CPU cooler is required to handle the extra heat that will be generated due to overclocking. Now let's talk about the different types of CPU coolers. There are actually three categories of CPU coolers. We have air coolers, we have liquid coolers, and we also have low profile coolers. Each category has its own strengths and weaknesses. So let's break them down. Air coolers make use of metal heat sinks and fans to dissipate heat. The heat sink absorbs heat from the CPU while the fans blow air over the heat sink to cool it down. Air coolers are affordable and widely available. They are easy to install and maintain. They are also reliable and durable. On the downside, they can be bulky in size, thereby obstructing access to other components. They are also less effective for extreme cooling needs, for example, overclocking, and they are best for general use, budget builds, and moderate gaming. The second category we have is the liquid cooling systems or all-in-one coolers. They make use of a liquid coolant to absorb heat that is generated by the CPU. The liquid then circulates through a pump, tubes, and a radiator, where fans are connected to help dissipate the heat generated. All-in-one liquid coolers are more efficient at cooling, especially in extreme cases like overclocking. They have a compact design that is built around the CPU, thereby freeing up space for access to other components on your motherboard. They're usually more expensive, they have a complex installation process, and there's also the risk of coolant leakage, although it's rare amongst modern all-in-one coolers. They are usually best for workstations, high-performance gaming, and overclocking. And lastly, we have the low-profile coolers. These are compact versions that are built for small form factor PC build, where space is limited. Having said that, let's now look at the key components of a CPU cooler. The first component is the heat sink. This is made of aluminum or copper. Its function is to absorb heat from the CPU. Then we have heat pipes. These are tubes that transfer heat from the base of the cooler to the heat sink. Then we have fans. Their function is to blow air over the heat sink or radiator to dissipate heat. Then we have thermal paste. This is a conductive material that is applied between the CPU and the cooler to facilitate heat transfer. Then for liquid coolers, we have the pump. The pump helps to circulate the coolant throughout the system. Then also for liquid coolers, we have the radiator. This is a fine structure that helps to dissipate heat from the coolant. So now we have talked about the various types of CPU coolers. Let's look at the features to consider before choosing the appropriate CPU cooler for your build. One feature to consider is the CPU TDP, thermal design power. Ensure your CPU cooler can handle the amount of heat that it will be generated from your CPU. Next is case compatibility. You need to factor in the dimensions of your PC case to see if it fits in the radiator or the air cooler. Another factor to consider is the noise level. Some CPU coolers are quieter than others. So if you are particular about noise, I would suggest you look out for decibel ratings if noise is a concern. Another factor to consider is the aesthetics. RGB lighting and sleek design are popular when it comes to modern builds. Then you put your budget into consideration. Air coolers are usually cheaper than liquid coolers, but liquid coolers are more effective compared to air coolers. Lastly, you need to consider your overclocking need. If you are going to be overclocking, I will recommend that you go for an all-in-one liquid cooler. Now let's look at the popular CPU cooler brand. We have Noctua. They are known for high quality air coolers with excellent performance and low noise levels. Then we have Cooler Master, which offers a wide range of air and liquid coolers for all budgets. Corsair specializes in AIO liquid coolers with RGB lighting. Be Quiet focuses on silent air and liquid cooling solutions. We also have NZXT. They are popular for stylish AIO liquid coolers with customizable RGB. And we also have Deep Cool. They provide affordable and reliable cooling solutions. So alright, let's talk about how to install your CPU cooler. It might seem intimidating, but with the right steps, it's a breeze. Here are some tips to make the process smooth and effective. First off, you apply your thermal paste correctly. Use a pea-sized amount of thermal paste on the CPU before attaching the cooler. Then, secondly, you secure the cooler properly. By doing this, you ensure the cooler is firmly attached to avoid poor contact with the CPU. Check for clearance. Make sure the cooler doesn't interfere with RAM sticks, GPU, or case panels. Then you connect your fans. Ensure the cooler's fans are connected to the motherboard's CPU fan header. And lastly, you carry out your cable management. Route the fan cables neatly to avoid blocking airflow or making your build look messy. After your installation, from time to time, I will also recommend that you carry out maintenance tasks on your system. For example, you dust regularly. Clean dust from the heatsink and fans to maintain optimal airflow. You check your pump off and ensure it's functioning properly and listen for unusual noises. Monitor temperatures by use of software like Hardware Monitor or Core Temp to keep an eye on CPU temperatures. So now is your turn. Let me know in the comment section below, what kind of CPU cooler do you use in your system? Do you make use of an air cooler or a liquid cooler? Do you also plan on upgrading? What cooler would you like to invest in? Share your thoughts in the comment section below. So in summary, a CPU cooler is a critical component for maintaining your CPU's temperature and ensuring your system runs smoothly. Whether you choose an air cooler or a liquid cooler, that depends on your budget and performance needs, and also aesthetic preferences. If you found this video helpful, I would like you to give it a thumbs up and also share and subscribe to this channel for more tech tips and tutorials like this. Thank you for watching and see you in the next one.